As we enter a new phase of recovery in our local wildfires, many residents in or near the fire zones will have to address smoke damage to their homes.
Yeah, smoke mitigation specialist Scott Huml joins us now with some tips and things to look out for. Good morning, Scott.
Good morning, ladies. How are you?
We're doing great. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here because I think your information will help a lot of people. Let's start off by asking you, Scott, for those people who are being let back into their homes right now, where should they start when it comes to assessing the damage on their home?
Good morning. Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate it. A lot of it is common sense, knowing how to visually assess what you're looking at. There's experts that are involved. Industrial hygienists are going to be a big portion of this, doing the testing on the soot and the ash and the carbon dust and the char materials that's in that ash. There's a lot of burn structures and chemicals and hazardous material, asbestos, all sorts of that stuff is combustible and in that dry ash, and it gets everywhere. It gets in the attic, it gets in crevices in your windowsills and your door jambs and into your sofas and your mattresses and your clothes and layers everywhere. So it just requires a heavy deodorization, remediation, and cleaning, and it's pretty intensive. It's definitely going to try people's patience.
Yeah, so many people affected. Of course, those who saw the most devastation know that they have to worry about the ash and the impacts. For those who weren't in a fire zone but were nearby, so there was significant ash, how do they even tell if there is damage, if they need to do anything to stuff in their home?
Again, a lot of it's going to be visual assessments in the beginning. There's chemical sponges, and you can even take a tissue and kind of wipe your walls and take that layer of soot off the hard surfaces. And if you're seeing any of that, if you're seeing it in the doorways or on the windowsills, it's best to have it tested by an industrial hygienist. Your insurance company should be on board with that. I commend some of them, for the way they're acting in good faith. I'm scared for some of the others that, have limited coverage. But it all needs to be HEPA vacuumed and deodorized and ozone or hydroxyl treatments. And, it's a lot of work. Sometimes you have to get more invasive if there's insulation behind the walls or in the attic spaces that are affected. That's porous. Anything porous is going to absorb an odor and is very difficult to clean.
Absolutely. All this smoke, ash, debris, we're talking, of course, detrimental to our air quality. Talk about the acceptable levels and how they work with insurance policies.
Big topic of discussion and concern right now is what's the level of acceptability of the combination of all that soot and ash and carbon dust. It can range anywhere from 3 to 7%, depending on who's doing the testing and who's controlling it. A lot of the lower the level of acceptability, the more invasive the clean. So if it's, it's up for debate, because what we're trying to do right now. I've been the last 48 hours talking a lot with industrial hygienists and other restoration owners, trying to get a uniform protocol on what we need to do here, because what the remediation and the educating bodies and the training courses that we take and the certifications that we have are saying one thing, and what the internal protocol within the carrier is wanting this to be tends to be, a little off. So we're making sure that everybody understands what the protocol is and how to do this properly and get people back in their homes as quickly as possible.
Absolutely. And speaking of, unfortunately, people have to worry about scams and people not correcting things properly in times like this. So as an expert, what are some questions you should be asking to someone you're looking to help hire to do the work with this fire damage mitigation?
I mean, first and foremost, I think you have to go on the CSLB website and make sure that the licenses are active and in good standing. Do your diligence, trust your gut, do your research, check reviews. Yelp, Google, Better Business Bureau. Those are all valuable resources to vet and figure out who you're dealing with. And at the end of the day, it's your responsibility to prove your loss. They're not going to volunteer any information. So you have to know how to present it properly. And, it's important. I'm telling a lot of my clients to create a separate email, a separate bank account. All correspondence goes through that. So everything is there. Save your receipts. Everything is open-ended. So as you go through this process, when they give you payments, that's just the start. There's always going to be a negotiation and more money available to you if you know how to present your claim properly to the insurance company. It's called a proof of loss. People need to understand that, the inventory and the detailed spreadsheets of what's going on and what's affected and what's damaged and how much that costs to replace is a very tedious process. It's going to test your patience. It's going to make you extremely frustrated. But, at the end of the day, the carriers hopefully are going to do the right thing and make these people whole and indemnify them. And I just want to give a shout out to all the first responders, all the firemen, all the police department, volunteers, the linesmen replacing all the wires. And, you guys are amazing. And it's devastating what's going on in there. And we feel for all our clients and friends and family. And, we're here to help however we can.
Absolutely. And we are, of course, thinking of all your friends and family impacted. Thank you so much for joining us, because we know you have a lot going on right now as well, and some very useful information as people navigate this difficult process to move forward. Guys, you can find more information about smoke damage and mitigation on our website. Go to kcalnews.com/SeenOnTV.